Just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. We will be live on YouTube. We are ready. We are live on YouTube right now, and you can make it Facebook Live. Bimal sir, are you there? I think Bimal sir will join within 1 or 2 minutes. He has joined, but his mic is muted. संदीप जी ने बिमल जी को कर दिया क्या आपने?
हाँ जी,
एक मिनट.
क्या बोला?
बिमल सर को मैंने को-होस्ट बना दिया संदीप जी.
हाँ, ठीक है.
वेरी वेलकम राजेश जी एंड सुरेश जी झुंझुनवाला. राजेश भैया नमस्कार.
नमस्कार नमस्कार.
And I also acknowledge the presence of पवन जी अग्रवाल.
पवन जी आ गए. नमस्कार पवन जी.
नमस्ते भैया.
नमस्ते.
नमस्कार. नमस्कार.
नमस्कार to everybody.
नमस्कार सर.
कन्वेनर सर नमस्कार. सुरेश जी नमस्कार. बिमल जी नमस्कार. बिमल जी वेलकम. बिमल जी आप सुन पा रहे हैं? बिमल जी को म्यूट कर रखा है भाई. बिमल जी को अनम्यूट कीजिए.
बिमल जी को मैंने सर बिमल सर को मैंने को होस्ट बना दिया है. आई थिंक वो उन्होंने खुद म्यूट किया हुआ है अपने आप को.
अच्छा.
नमस्कार एवरीबॉडी.
यस सर. साड़ा जी आ जाइए.
नमस्कार सर. नमस्कार.
आज
नमस्कार.
वेरी गुड इवनिंग रमेश भैया. वेरी गुड इवनिंग.
Very good afternoon and evening both.
यस सर.
गुड आफ्टरनून.
अरे अभी कहा गया गुड नाइट भी जोड़ दीजिए.
वो जाते टाइम फिर एक बार कर
जाते टाइम के लिए हो गया. आज माहौल गुड इवनिंग का ही है.
हाँ. मौसम तो स्विट्जरलैंड वाला हो रखा है.
हाँ. वेरी नाइस.
70 पार्टिसिपेंट आ गए सर.
एरिया जी स्विट्जरलैंड ज्यादा जाते
टुडे
हैं.
विल बी द ग्रेट सेशन.
नहीं सर, जाने की इच्छा थी, अब तो मौका नहीं लगेगा. भूल जाएगा.
आई थिंक बिमल सर बहुत दिनों के बाद ज्वाइन किए हैं वेबिनार में इन ईस्टर्न इंडिया. इट विल बी अ ग्रेट सेशन. Friends, kindly mute your mic. I think Bimal sir will join within 1 or 2 minutes. Then we will start our session. राजेश भैया, रामोतर जी ने बहुत ही सुंदर लिखा है आज।
पढ़ के सुनाएंगे तो मालूम पड़ेगा ना।
नहीं, डेफिनेटली। तो मैंने कहा कि दामोदर जी के
केजरीवाल जी एक काम कीजिए ना, आज का जो सरप्राइज है उसका बैकग्राउंड बताने शुरू करिए, लोगों को पता चले।
नहीं, ये तो सर सरप्राइज ही रहने दीजिए।
नहीं, अरे बैकग्राउंड बताने बोल रहे हैं।
आई थिंक इसके लिए हरिराम भैया बहुत अच्छे हैं। हरिराम जी,
अरे
ओवर टू यू।
कन्वीनर के मुखारविंद से ज्यादा अच्छा लगेगा।
देन वी हैव टू वेट सर।
कृष्णा वाच।
विमल सर आ गए क्या?
We are about to reach 100 participant. 97 हो गए already participant.
या 98।
900।
100 हो गए, 100
100।
जी हो गया है।
आज भी 100 का लिमिट है क्या आज अनलिमिटेड है?
आज अनलिमिटेड है।
देखिए ट्राई करते हैं अनलिमिटेड हो जाए, ऊपर वाले के आशीर्वाद से सुरेश जी।
हाँ, क्योंकि आज तो विमल जी का है। अनलिमिटेड ही करिए।
101 पार कर गया।
आगे।
हो तो रहा है, 100 के ऊपर तो हो रहा है। नंबर इंक्रीज हो गए।
फ्रेंड्स, आज का जो टॉपिक है जीएसटी पर, सम कॉम्प्लिकेटेड इशू विल बी डिस्कस्ड एंड टैक्स प्लानिंग। आज हमारा जो ऑफिशियल लोगो है सेंट्रल कलकत्ता का, वो भी अपने सीए विमल सर से ट्रेनिंग अनवेल करवाएंगे। तो टुडे हमारे एसोसिएशन के लिए बहुत ही स्पेशल डे है। जस्ट वेटिंग फॉर विमल सर टू ज्वाइन।
फिर वो आपको बोला।
इन द मीन टाइम राजेश जी काकरिया के कुछ उद्गार हम लोगों को उनके मुखारविंद से सुना दीजिए।
यस सर, ओवर टू राजेश भैया।
हाँ,
विमल जी है ज्वाइन।
विमल जी ज्वाइन।
गुड इवनिंग सर।
गुड इवनिंग सर, गुड इवनिंग।
हाउ आर यू?
वेरी
गुड इवनिंग सर।
सो नाइस।
सर, कैसे हैं?
बस ठीक है। हम सब अच्छे हैं। हम सब एंजॉय कर रहे हैं आजकल। हमको फोर्सिबली छुट्टी पे भेज दिया गया है, ऐसा है क्या?
सर ये हाउस अरेस्ट है सर, हाउस अरेस्ट।
नहीं, मैं अभी आपको बताऊंगा। ये हाउस अरेस्ट नहीं है, मैं बताऊंगा आपको।
सर,
लेकिन आए हम लोग।
I don't
Bimal
want
ji,
to
welcome back to Kolkata. Bimal ji, welcome back to Kolkata.
We are really thankful to you, sir.
My pleasure, and it's so
Bimal
nice
is-
to see
Bimal
each
ji's
of you.
hometown.
राजेश भैया, I want to start our session.
Yes,
Actually, बहुत देर से लोग वेट कर रहे हैं विमल सर को सुनने के लिए।
प्लीज स्टार्ट कीजिए सर।
क्या सर?
या
Now we are starting our session.
ऑडियो क्यों नहीं आ रहा है?
Pardon? Sir, please mute yourself. I request each and every co-host to please mute yourself, and all the delegates present over there here, please requested to please mute yourself.
And stop the videos.
Good evening, dear friends and dignitaries. I welcome you all on my behalf and on behalf of Central Kolkata CA Study Circle in today's webinar, which is going to be a memorable one for all of us. Very special for all of us, as it is associated with a great events, two great events. One is innovated our association own logo, which will be unveiled today by our esteemed speaker, CA Bimal Jain sir from Delhi. And the other one is other than he accepted our invitation. Sir, we are really एक कॉल में आपने सर हमारा इनविटेशन एक्सेप्ट किया सर। ये बहुत ही हिस्टोरिक होगा कि ईस्टर्न इंडिया में आपका बहुत दिनों से अवेटेड था ये सेमिनार। थैंकफुल। आप हमारे गुरु हैं सर, और जीएसटी में सब आपको गुरु ही बोलते हैं। विमल सर गुरु हैं। वी आर ब्लेस्ड सर। थैंक यू सर। for joining this session. And I request our एग्जीक्यूटिव कमेटी मेंबर रामोतर जी जोशी, जो हमारे बहुत सीनियर हैं, हमारे को आज अनवेल कर रहे हैं सर, उसके बारे में 2 शब्द बोलेंगे. ओवर टू रामोतर जोशी जी. सर अनम्यूट कीजिए सर.
हाँ
यस सर.
हाँ, पहले इनका मतलब इंट्रोडक्शन करवा कर कराएं सर का, उसके बाद कराएंगे.
नहीं सर, आप बोलिए पहले लोगों के बारे में.
सर आज हम सीकेसीए का लोगों का अनावरण करवाने जा रहे हैं. सीकेसीए की स्थापना सन 2002 में की गई थी. निरंतर बढ़ती हुई गतिविधियों के मद्देनजर सन 2017 में इसे सोसाइटी रजिस्ट्रेशन एक्ट के अंतर्गत पंजीकृत कराया गया है. प्रतीक चिन्ह संगठन का चेहरा पहचान होता है. संगठन के प्रतीक चिन्ह में पुस्तक ज्ञान का स्वरूप है. स्वर्णिम रंग सूर्य एवं समृद्धि का द्योतक है. धान एवं धान की बालियों को समृद्धि एवं खुशहाली के रूप में देखा जाता है. संगठन का नाम स्थापना वर्ष भी में समायोजित किया गया है. इन सभी को एक सूत्र में बांधता है ध्येय वाक्य, यथा सूर्य तथा ज्ञानम. यह विष्णु पुराण एवं ब्रह्म पुराण का श्लोकांश है. सूर्य के समान प्रकाश का पुंज है. जैसे सूर्योदय न केवल अंधकार का संपूर्ण नाश करता है, बल्कि वायुमंडलीय प्रक्रिया पर भी प्रभाव डालता है, वैसे ही ज्ञान से व्यक्ति का समग्र विकास होता है. माँ सरस्वती की आराधना से मानव सात्विक अन्न धन को प्राप्त कर शक्तिशाली बनता है. इसी प्रेरणा से इस प्रतीक चिन्ह को हमने अंगीकार किया है. ओवर टू केजरीवाल जी.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू. मैं राजेश जी आर यू देयर? राजेश भैया, मैं राजेश जी और ईसीएम मेंबर और हमारे सीनियर, उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वो 2 शब्द कहें और बिमल सर को बोले कि वो इसको अनवेल करें.
एक्चुअली बैंडविड्थ बहुत कम हो जा रही है.
राजेश जी. ओवर टू राजेश जी.
बैंडविड्थ की ईज के लिए सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है अपने कैमरा और माइक को म्यूट करें प्लीज.
बैंडविड्थ का प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है.
बैंडविड्थ का बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है.
Can we stop the videos for all the participants?
Yeah. Except few one.
Few
म्यूट कर दिया, फोटो गायब हो गई मेरी.
कुछ लोग को छोड़ के सब अपना वीडियो ऑफ कर दीजिए एक बार.
राजेश भैया प्लीज कंटिन्यू.
अभी तो आवाज आ रही थी, किसी का फोन आया फिर कट गई.
सभी को मेरा एसोसिएशन के बहुत ही सुंदर अवसर है कि आज हम अपना लोगो अनावरण करने जा रहे हैं, और वो भी महान हस्ती बिमल जी जैन से.
You cannot start your video.
कोलकाता सुनाई दे रहा है? Am I audible?
Yes
sir. Audible. Please continue sir.
मैसेज भेज देखिए, आवाज नहीं आ रही, साउंड नहीं.
ये थे और आज 750 प्लस है अपने मेंबरशिप. तो ये बहुत ही गर्व का विषय है. और 2017 में ये मतलब इसकी गतिविधियां बराबर आप सबकी सहयोग से बढ़ती गई है. और 2017 में हमने सोचा कि भाई इसको अपने को रजिस्टर्ड भी कराना चाहिए. तो अपने इसको जो है सोसाइटी रजिस्ट्रेशन एक्ट में रजिस्टर करवाया, और रजिस्टर कराने के बाद अब अपना उसमें अपने 12A का रजिस्ट्रेशन भी हो गया, और उसके बाद अपने उसमें ATG का क्लेम, ATG का डिडक्शन भी अवेलेबल है. तो अपने इसको और आगे बढ़ाने के हिसाब से कि भाई अपना खुद का ऑफिस होए और खुद की पूरी सेक्रेटरिएट काम करे, तो उस हिसाब से इसको बनाया गया है. तो उसका पहला कदम है कि भी अपना अलग से आइडेंटिटी के लिए एक लोगो होना चाहिए. तो उस हिसाब से अपने ये लोगो का आज अनावरण कर रहे हैं. तो ये बहुत ही प्राउड मोमेंट है फॉर ऑल द सीकेसीए मेंबर. तो मैं आगे की कार्रवाई के लिए इनको केजरीवाल जी को बोलता हूँ कि आगे की कार्रवाई शुरू.
थैंक यू राजेश.
ओवर टू केजरीवाल जी. किशन जी.
बिमल सर ओवर टू यू.
आप
उसको एनर्जेट कीजिए सर.
मैं ला रहा हूँ इसका चार्जर.
सर Please
देखिए,
unveil today's our association's logo.
it is my proud privilege, believe me, my proud privilege. जब मुझे इसके अवलोकन के लिए मुझे सम्मानित और मुझसे बोला जा रहा है, तो ये मेरे लिए वाकई प्राउड मोमेंट है. Not only for me, for all the members of your Central Kolkata Chartered Accountant Study Circle. We all are proud of, and with the God's grace, praying to God कि सेंट्रल कोलकाता चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट स्टडी सर्कल इसी तरीके से
Any color.
आगे बढ़े,
Orange, red, whatever you will.
सफल हो, सक्सेसफुल हो, और जो इंडिविजुअल्स है इस स्टडी सर्कल का ज्ञान, नॉलेज, विजडम, हम सब मिलकर इस पे काम करें और हमेशा अच्छे से अच्छा करें. इसी भावनाओं के साथ मैं प्रभु से प्रार्थना करते हुए आपके इस चिन्ह के अवलोकन के लिए अपनी सम्मति प्रकट करता हूं.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू.
You can show that your logo to all the audience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Appreciated, appreciated.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now I request our executive committee member Kamalji Sada to
Great, sir. It's really wonderful. Thank you.
over to Kamalji Sada.
थैंक्स किशन जी. विमल जी नमस्कार. विमल जी, आज सबसे मतलब बड़ा दिन है कि हम लोगों का एक एसोसिएशन का लोगो आपके हाथों से अनावरण हुआ है, और ये 258 पार्टिसिपेट अभी दिखा रहे हैं जो ऑल ओवर इंडिया से आपके साथ जुड़े हैं, और ये सबसे बड़ी एक उपलब्धि है हमारे लिए कि आज आप विमल जी हमारे ये वेबिनार में आप आए हैं. तो इस कर्सी ऑफ और एसोसिएशन टू इंट्रोड्यूस, आपको ऐसे कोई नहीं जानता है, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. ऑल ओवर इंडिया आपको जो है जीएसटी का गुरु है आप, फिर भी हमारे एक कर्सी है, तो इसके लिए हम आपको थोड़ा सा इंट्रोड्यूस करेंगे. तो विमल जी एज ए CA, FCS and LLB with 21 years of experience in direct taxation, GST, service tax, custom, FTP, DGFT matters, etc. He is a chairman of Indirect Tax Committee of PSD Chamber of Commerce. He is also a author of GST Law and Analysis book. He has working experience of more than 18 years in renowned companies as LG Electronics India Private Limited, Honda Motorcycle Limited, and SDC Limited, as well as presently he is the Executive Director of A to Z Tax Corp LLP. He is also an associate as a chairman of Corporate Advisory Committee of IPEM Group of Institutions. He is a member of Indirect Tax Committee of ASSOCHAM and FICCI, and special invitee of Indirect Tax Committee of ICAI, ICSI, and ICMA. He is also awarded with Guinness World Record made by ICSI in largest taxation lesson. Please, friends, give a thunderous applause for Bimalji Jain. And he is very associated with our Kolkata, and we are very thankful to him. Over to Bimalji.
Sir, floor is yours. सब आपको वेट कर रहे हैं बहुत देर से. Please, sir.
चलिए मैं स्टार्ट करता हूँ.
Thank you, sir.
At the outset, I thank Central Kolkata Chartered Accountant Study Circle and all managing committee members. I'm not naming individually. I know each one of you. So please take my word that with due regards to each one of you, I'm starting this webinar, and which is very important topic. Before I start, there are two things which I would be looking for. The first one, that I'm getting many South India friends. They are joining all chartered accountants, and they started putting a request in a chat box that I must communicate in English. Though when I go to Calcutta, I use little Hindi also with my deliberations. So bear with me because we are getting pan-India participants. So today I'm going to deliberate mostly in English. So kindly bear with me. First part.
Not an issue, sir. Not an issue.
And second part, I will request all the participants to mute their microphone, first of all, because when we are working and doing something webinar on Zoom, it is very important that all the participants must mute their microphone. This is important so that we can listen to each other. You can listen my voice and then you can get me in a better way. Of course, you can open your chat box. You can keep your chat box open because I want to do interactive session. I really want that perspective, but a different topic altogether. So I would be posting query, would be looking for the answer from your side, and so many from the South India joining, even Western India joining, Central India joining, and my all Eastern. So I always believe, chahe South ho, chahe Eastern ho, Bharat, India is mine, whole India is mine. And that's what we all must proud of. Now, let me start my today's deliberation. At the end, I'm going to put my kind submission for all the members, what we should do as a professional community to defeat Corona, to contribute socially, to pay something which we can do for the class. They're looking our help and assistance because this COVID-19 has taught us a good lesson. I was just told by someone that we are under home lock. I don't believe. We are not under any lock. Lockdown only in the mindset. I believe lockdown is only in the mindset. We all are open. Our heart is open. Mind is open. Wisdom is open. Dream is open. Think differently. This time has come to learn, to give a lesson to us that something new we should look at our career. We have, live in a monotonous way. Now we can transform ourselves once lockdown is open. So take it positively. Sometimes these situation gives elation, which is, you can say, for a life lesson for us. So maybe I assume this COVID-19 time period is nothing but a learning curve for me from my career perspective as well. So don't say that lockdown is a home lockdown for you. Lockdown is only in the mindset. Be positive, optimistic, do your best, try your best, spread positivity. Positivity will definitely come back. So let's start with my today's deliberation. And today I've taken a topic, force majeure with tax planning in GST. So let me first start and then I will touch base 2-3 open issues as well. I will see your chat box also. And then accordingly, we would be interacting together. So I'm sure that my voice and my picture is visible to all of you. If you can say yes, I can start right away. Okay, all right. So I got yes from everyone concerned. So let me now start with this force majeure. I'm going to tell you it is free of cost opinion to all of you today. Free of cost opinion. Believe me, you will get this free of cost opinion because this topic is very, very important. This during COVID-19. Force majeure is a term, it's coming from the French word. And what is the meaning of force majeure? That there are two parties. One is the promisor, another one is the promisee. Has agreed for certain event, but they are not being able to execute that event for reason of force majeure, which may be natural or which may be unavoidable circumstances that the particular activity or scope which is being defined in the contract cannot be executed. Now, who is at fault? This is the big question. Here, none of the party is at fault. it is because of natural reason or unavoidable circumstances. Similar is the fact which I'm narrating to you that today COVID-19 situation is a force majeure for lot many contract. Now in a contract, when something which can't be executed for reason because of unavoidable circumstances, then who is the party? There's the one party who is at a loss and one party who could not execute. So we have to really see a situation that a contract could not be executed for none's fault, none faulted with. There is certain natural reason or unavoidable circumstances. So in case you are having force majeure clause in your contract, so now what happened? I will request my all the friends. They are providing lot of opinion to the lot of clients. You go back and check if there is a clause force majeure, then that contract, in lieu of that contract or non-execution of this contract, none can be taken that you can recover some money for not execution of that contract. Because it's a force majeure clause. Both the party, promisor and promisee, agreed in principle that if something which is unavoidable, then this contract going to be kept in abeyance, and to that extent it would be void, meaning thereby none can claim compensation in lieu of non-execution of contract for the reason force majeure clause. So there are two ways. If clause force majeure is there in the contract, or clause force majeure is not there in the contract. If it is there in the contract, no problem. Then it is safeguarding interest of promisor and promisee both together. But if there is no clause mentioned force majeure, then the issue arises. The party who is at a loss, he may claim compensation. First part. If there is no clause of force majeure in the contract, then at most the party at a loss can claim compensation. Second, even though he is not responsible for that, but since there is no force majeure clause, legal dispute may arise. And third and foremost, what we should do in the given situation. So I've given the background of force majeure. Now I'm taking a live case study and I wanted you to participate. Let's say I'm a chartered accountant and I got one big company, ABC Limited. And I'm providing continuous supply of services to this ABC Limited. I would be posting query in this particular chat box. So you must listen very carefully. And I really want you must participate also. I have one contract which is for continuous supply of services. Like you can say AMC contract or a recurring contract or say construction contract or a works contract which is for a period more than 3 months. Continuous supply of services. Now, in that contract, the milestone defined that the Bimal Jain, being supplier, going to raise invoice on 31st or 30th of that particular month. So, as a party, as a supplier, I'm supposed to raise my invoice on 30th or 31st of that particular month. So let's say I'm talking about March 2020, which is falling in this COVID-19 time period. Now, this clause say, Bimal Jain, you are allowed to raise invoice on 31st March for the March 2020. Now I'm going to ask each one of you. There is no clause in our contract. So Bimal Jain and ABC Limited in that contract we signed, there's no force majeure clause. No force majeure clause. Now, please tell me, I'm asking each one of you. As per contract, Bimaljan is supposed to raise invoice on 31st March, right? Now you have to look at from GST perspective, because GST is the relevant topic. I'm connecting this force majeure with the GST compliances. Now, when I say that I need to raise invoice on 31st March, but you know, March month, we are all under lockdown situation, starting middle of the March. It may vary from one state to another state, but mostly we are into lockdown time period. And now we are not serving to our client as well. Now, in a given situation, from GST perspective, you all know, and I'm sure you must be knowing, that the government has announced tax relief measure. Honorable FM has announced tax relief measure on 24th March 2020. And the notification pertaining to tax relief under GST got published on 3rd April 2020. Now, what are those announcements? Let me tell you that for my GSTR 3B and GSTR 1, why I'm saying 3B and 1? For simple reason, Bimal Jain is a supplier. Now, Bimal Jain is supposed to file his GSTR 1, and he has to file his GSTR 3B along with the payment. I am just giving you the background so that you can answer me properly. That's the reason I'm giving you the background. And let me also tell you what are the announcements made and the notification got issued, so that you are in a better position to just look at your scenario with your client and customer and can plan and can do tax planning as well. Tax planning as well. That's the reason I'm sounding you. Listen very carefully. What government has announced for filing GSTR 3B, they have created 3 categories, right? Maybe you can take a piece of paper and pen or pencil. You may note down for your, understanding later on for your understanding. And then at the end of my webinar, you can start thinking what you will do from tax planning major perspective. So what are the announcements made for filing GSTR 3B? There are 3 categories created. So on left-hand side, you should write down 3 categories. A taxpayer whose aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore in a preceding financial year, first category. Second category, a taxpayer whose aggregate turnover is less than 5 crore, but more than 1.5 crore in a preceding financial year, second category. And last category, taxpayer whose aggregate turnover is less than 1.5 crore in preceding financial year. 3 categories created. In terms of notification issued, notification number 31, 32, and 36. 31, 32, and 36 for GSTR 3B. For GSTR 3B. What these notification says, for GSTR 3B to be filed for February, March, and April, only 3 months. February, March, and April. February goes on 20th March, March goes on 20th April, and April goes on 20th May. What these notification 31 and 32 says for all these 3 categories. For first category, taxpayer whose aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore, it is being stated that this category must file their 3B for February, March, and April by 24th June. By 24th June. And what is the benefit given to this category? Benefit number 1, if you file your 3B for February, March, and April, then there will be no late fees. Late fees is waived off. Second, interest is nil. for 15 days, 15 days, to be calculated from the due date of that particular tax period. And thereafter, it would be 9% interest, reduced rate, 9% per annum as against 18% per annum, and to be calculated on daily basis. So this is for the first category, right? Let me do one case study with all of you for this category. And I want your preparation in a chat box. You should be ready so that you can answer it properly. For the March 2020, if no interest to be levied or no late fees to be levied for March 2020, if no interest and no late fees, tell me by when 3B of March 2020 to be filed, by when? Tell me. 5th May. All right, everyone is right, 5th May. So this audience is learned audience and saying 5th May. All right, poch. Okay, T. Nagendra Reddy said before 5th May. Not an issue, 5th May for understanding academic purpose. Now let's say I'm taking this example further. If you file this 3B on 10th May, then interest going to be levied, right? And rate would be 9% per annum, right? So if you're filing on 10th May, my next question goes to all of you. Interest is going to be levied only for 5 days or for full month? Only for 5 days or full month? All right. It is only for 5 days. Only for 5 days to be calculated thereafter. So those who are responding incorrectly, like Mukesh Kumar Lakhani, has given wrong answer. So I'm not naming. I'm only saying some other participant also saying 20 days. It is only 5 days to be calculated 5th May onwards at 9% per annum, and that too on daily basis. Now let's take this example further. Let's say you file your 3B of March on 29th June. 29th June. Tell me whether this taxpayer will get benefit of reduced rate of interest and waiver of late fees. Say yes or no. Say yes or no. So maximum are saying no, but there are some participants, they are saying yes. Answer is big no. No relief. No relief on interest. No relief on waiver fees. So first category we have done correctly. Now come to the second category, and I will connect it. So you have to really walk the talk with me. I will connect with the force majeure also. So I'm just going little slow and taking you all along. So you go with me. Second category, which was more than 1.5 crore, but less than 5 crore, right? And you have to read the notification number 3132. What it says, this category taxpayer must file February and March 3B by 29th June. By 29th June. And what is the benefit given to him? No interest. Like for first category, interest relief was only for 15 days and reduced rate thereafter. But for the second category, no interest, nil interest, and no late fees if February and March 3B filed by 29th June. And for April, it is filed by 30th June, 30. Come to the third category now. Those who are less than 1.5 crore in a preceding financial year. For that, they have to file their February 3B by 30th June, 30. March 3B by 3rd July, and April 3B by 6th July, 30th June, 3rd July, and 6th July. If they file by this due date, then no interest, no late fees. I've said for February, March, and April. Then you would be thinking, what happened for May? We are in the month of May now, today being the 1st May, and still we are under lockdown situation, and we never know what happened after 3rd May. So what happened for the May 3B? For May 3B, there's a notification number 36/2020, 36/2020. And it says, now they say, if the taxpayer whose aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore, they must file May 3B by 27 June, by 27 June. And here they are not talking about, they are not saying anything pertaining to interest, etc. 27 June. Now, second part, they are saying that for taxpayer whose aggregate turnover is less than 5 crore, now here is only two category for the month of May 3B. More than 5 crore, May 3B must go by 27 June, but for less than 5 crore, it is staggered on two different dates, 12 July and 7 July, 12 July and 14 July, 12 July and 14 July, depending on the specified state. You can check that notification 36/2020, where is your state falling for which specified date. Now, having said all this thing, just go slowly. Though Deepika is asking something to me, I will respond back, but go along with me. Deepika, I will take your query a little later. Don't put your question in between, just listen me carefully. This is for the 3B. And for February to May, I have communicated everything. Now, question comes GSTR1. GSTR1 to be filed, and GSTR1 normally is my outward supply. The notification number 33/2020 says for March, April, and May, it to be filed by 30th June, 30th June, or quarter ending March to be filed by 30th June, then no late fee is going to be levied. The first part. Now my all analysis starts. The analysis which I wanted to draw, I'm analyzing. I was talking to one of the senior government officials very recently, and I told him, sir, the kind of tax relief notification got issued, it is not going correctly. Please tell me whether I'm right or wrong. So you have to give me the judgment, whether I'm right or wrong. He asked me, why, Bimalji, you're saying it is not right? I'm telling you. I said, sir, for GSTR1, for March, April, and May, you're saying 30th June, right? You take one category. Let's say I'm taking taxpayer aggregate turnover more than 5 crore, and I'm taking example of March. Let's say March. So March 2020, GSTR1 going to be filed by 30th June and no late fees. And 3B for March 20, for this category to be filed by 24th June. I said, sir, what you're doing? Normally we finalize GSTR1 first. And that gets auto-populated for recipient. I consider that credit for finalizing in my 3B. So you're saying 3B for March to be filed by 24 June and GST1 by 30th June. Is it correct? So I'm asking your judgment, whether these notifications which got issued are really going in line. That's what my question. So you say whether I was right or wrong. So your chat box will say right or wrong. Right or wrong. So maximum are saying right, but still somebody are saying wrong. My analysis, in all implied manner, now I have to finalize my GSTR1 on or before 24th June. Then only I could see. I have to ask my vendor, ensure them. I have to tell my vendor, boss, you must file your GSTR1 on or before 24 June. Even if you say on, then also it is going to create problem. But I'm telling you for the convenience sake. Those who are saying wrong and right, I'm just analyzing first part. Second part. Now, when you say that if GSTR1 going to be finalized by 30th June, you cannot see your number in 2A for finalizing 3B, then another answer which I'm giving you, you must be thinking of Rule 36 sub Rule 4. Rule 36 sub Rule 4 of CGST Rule 2017, right? What is coming to your mind, sir? If I'm not finding the credit reflected in my 2A, then the problem will arise. That what problem will arise? Then problem will arise. The first problem, what is the Rule 36 sub Rule 4 says? I'm giving you one example so that you can understand. I know that Pan India is watching this webinar and I'm saying everything all in English. My Calcutta friends must be enjoying with me. So it will create good part of it. Listen carefully. Let's say you got 15 lakh rupees credit. 15 lakh rupees credit, books credit in books of accounts. In books of accounts. But in your 2A, GSTR 2A, it is coming 10 lakh. It is coming 10 lakh rupees. So there's a mismatch of credit of 5 lakh, meaning thereby to the extent of 5 lakh rupees, invoice and debit note information is not uploaded by the vendor or supplier. That's the reason there is a shortfall of credit. 5 lakh rupees is not coming, is not shown in my 2A. Challenge for me to avail the credit. Rule 36 sub Rule 4 has created capping. Capping provision started from 9th October 2019, 20%, got reduced to 10% from 1st January 2020. Now one relief measure is what? That compliance of Rule 36 sub Rule 4. Before I go to this provision, let me first check, because Rule 36 sub Rule 4, whether my all participants knows or does not know. Let me check them. If at all I have to comply with the Rule 36 sub Rule 4 with the same example, 15 lakh rupees coming in my books, 10 lakhs coming in my 2A, mismatch of 5 lakh. So pertaining to this 5 lakh, how much maximum I can avail credit in terms of Rule 36 sub Rule 4? Please tell me how much. So I'm getting right answer, okay, but I'm getting incorrect answer also. So let me tell you the provision which I'm going to tell you now. Had it not been there, I could have taken credit at maximum of 10% of 10 lakh coming in my 2A, which is 1 lakh rupees. That is the answer. But what is the change? Notification number 30/2020 it says, Bimal, now for compliance of Rule 36 sub Rule 4, for the period starting from February to August, February, March, April, May, June, July, and August, you need not require to adhere to such condition. Need not require. Don't adhere. 10% criteria you need not require to adhere. But cumulative effect of this period, February to August, need to be given for the month, in the month of September 2023B. So overall effect, cumulative effect for the period February to August to be given in September 3B. So maybe this is one advantage you see, that how you can finalize your GSTR 3B when you are filing prior to GSTR 1. Prior to GSTR 1. Now tell me in a comment box. I just want to, because you know, when I want to go and move forward, I really want to take you along with me. So if I've given this situation, initially I said it is going contrary, that 3B to be filed before GSTR 1. Now I given one provision which is given as a tax relief measure, non-adherence of condition of Rule 36 sub Rule 4, cumulatively now in September 3B. Now looks like from this overall connection, you can avail credit in your 3B, even though amount is not reflected in your 2A. But cumulative effect to be given, yes, correct. So if I pose this query, books credit 15 lakh, 2A credit only 10 lakh. If this is the period March I'm referring to, and I need to finalize my 3B, what is the credit I can avail? This is the only answer I'm looking for. Please tell me. 15 lakh rupees. Good. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, learned audience. This is what I was looking for. Oh, all right. All right. Now let me move to, all right. And now this difference part, anything need to be adhered in the month of September 2020. All well said. Well said. Now let's move. Let's move. Okay. In the next part, there's one notification, and this notification on account of force majeure. And this I wanted to discuss with all of you. This was in my mind to discuss on force majeure and connect with the GST provision. Listen carefully. What this notification 35/2020 says. 35/2020 says. This notification. This says, Bimal, if anything which you need to comply under GST law or rules made thereunder, anything which you need to comply under GST law or rules made thereunder, and whose time limit is expiring, in a period starting from 20th March 20 March to 29 June 2020, then the due date in all implied meaning is 30th June, 30th June. So this is a blanket umbrella kind of relief under GST. And I'm repeating for the benefit of all that the time limit for any compliance in GST law and rules made thereunder, if expiring in a period 20th March to 29 June, then the due date would be 30th June, right? Now, what all provision going to be applicable here? I request participants to mute their microphone. Somebody has again, unmuted his microphone. Please. My request to all the participants once again, kindly mute your microphone. All right. Listen now carefully. When I've said that, now in case you have to file LUT, letter of undertaking, for export without payment of taxes, for 2021, due date extended to 30th June. And yesterday there is one clarification also. Since you would be filing your LUT on 30th June, so what happened for the period of export starting from April to June? They say you quote your 1920 LUT number. So these are the things coming out. You need to file appeal, right? Then appeal extended to 30th June. You need to file your refund claim for 1718, whose date was expiring on 31st March, now extended to 30th June. So these are the blanket benefit given. But one exception is being created. One exception is being created. They say this blanket tax relief is available except certain provision. Now this except certain provision, you must pay attention. And for that, I'm doing this force majeure clause and GST implication. You have to listen very carefully, because now this is the exception part where this extended benefit is not available. That's the reason you need to listen carefully. Start. They say this benefit of 20th March to 29 June extended to 30th June is not available for the following section: time of supply provision, valuation provision, registration, section 25. So let me check one after another. Let's say law says within 30 days we need to apply. And let's say your particular transaction which you are entering into this COVID-19 time period, I'm posting query to all of you. If it is falling in COVID-19 time period, by when you should be applying for registration? Within 30 days or by 30th June? Tell me, within 30 days? If your answer is within 30 days, write 30. Or you're saying 30th June, write 30th June. Within 30 days, Purushottam is saying, believe me, within 30 days. And this is one of the irony. No 30th June, Mr. Nagendra Reddy. No, it's within 30 days. Coming to the second exception. Now I'm back to my main question. Bimal Jain, now listen carefully. Bimal Jain was supposed to raise invoice on 31st March, right? As per the contract. My 3B, and assume I'm a taxpayer having aggregate turnover more than 5 crore. Assume that. And I'm going to file my 3B and date given to me 24th June. Interest up to 15 days nil, thereafter 9% per annum. Thereafter 9% per annum, provided I file my 3B by 24th June. Having said that, now 3B date I said, GSTR1 I will file by 30th June. The provision, the way it has been given to me. Now tell me, for March, continuous supply of services, the milestone defined in the contract is that I must raise my invoice by 31st March. I'm asking you guys, can I extend? I'm repeating again, can I extend this milestone for raising my invoice, even though I have to file my GSTR1 on 30th June, and 3B by 24th June. Tell me, can I do that? Can I do that? Okay, very well, very well. So lot of, participants are there, and I'm seeing their chat box. They're saying, no, sir, you need to raise invoice. You need to raise invoice, and that is the answer. And that is the answer. Irrespective of fact, my 3B by 24th June, irrespective of fact, my GSTR1 is on 30th June, I must raise my invoice. So first, I'm saying that, can't I apply the force majeure clause? I'm asking you guys now. GST say, Bimal, no relief, you should raise invoice. Though you file your one on 30th June, 3B on 24th June, just because of this force majeure clause, can't I postpone this milestone for raising invoice? Goes back to you. Please, audience, can I do that? Force majeure clause, can I do that? Can I do that? Okay, now I'm getting answers. No, yes, can be done. Now, this was the importance I wanted to draw. This was the importance I was really trying my best to draw for yourself. Now listen carefully. Maybe 5 to 8 minutes I will take to explain this thing as a tax planning measure. I will take 5 to 8 minutes to discuss the tax planning measure. Listen, it's very important, and that was the topic I wanted to draw for you. I could have said this thing in a blanket way, but I know it had not gone to your mind. Now you're just connected. You got the topic. You're connecting yourself. So it is now the things you can start thinking on both lines. Notification does not permit. 35/2020 does not permit. It's telling me, Bimal, you must raise invoice on 31st March. Irrespective of fact, you file 3B on 24th June. Irrespective of fact, you file your GSTR1 on 30th June. My answer. This COVID-19 period for SME and MSME, I was talking one of the senior government official, and virtually I can say I was talking to one of the minister. I'm not naming for the secrecy region. And what I discussed, listen very carefully. I said, sir, I'm SME and MSME. I'm SME and MSME. You have said that my 3B, you have given so much of relaxation to me. For these 2-3 months, I can relax, pause, submit my 3B at a later date, pay my taxes at a later date. And you have to listen, this argument really went to his mind, and he said he's looking into the matter. And maybe you will see some of the announcement in time to come, but listen what I spoken to him. I said, sir, I'm SME, MSME. My GST liability is on accrual basis. If I raise my invoice, I need to pay only for this short time period. You have given me a relief that I can pay with the extended time period. I'm SME, MSME, sir. First of all, for me, this payment on accrual basis is not correct. I'm not saying for COVID-19. I said I'm not saying for COVID-19. In pre-GST era in service tax, we as a chartered accountant was having relief up to 50 lakh rupees. Service tax to be paid on receipt basis, 50 lakh rupees, which you have done away with in GST provision. Now you are saying that invoice to be raised. So I'm creating two categories. One is a category who are SME and MSME, and one category who are large taxpayer. So I'm not discussing for the large taxpayer at the moment. I'm talking about SME and MSME. I told him, sir, In our chartered accountancy profession, we normally being paid for the last year invoice. We normally and generally being paid for the last year invoice. Now you're saying that I must pay by some extended date, but I must raise the invoice. I must raise the invoice. My liability is not going away. It will again start tinkering the day that extended time period given to me is goes away. That is what I said the first thing. See what happened. It will start again coming back to me, for which I'm not having enough cash. I know Pan India, you all are practicing. You can vouch with me. Of course, I say that lockdown is only in the mind, but business-wise, we have seen we are at halt. Nothing is moving as such from revenue perspective, and we got cost commitment. We may have 10% employed in our company or in firm, or 20% employed in our firm. Revenue wise, we are not having much enough moving, but cost commitment, fixed costs remain, which we have to pay from our own pocket. I given two suggestions. Believe me, I given two suggestions. I said, for SME and MSME, you must allow one-time relief. Why only you are saying for this COVID-19 time period? For SME and MSME, you should move from accrual to receipt basis. Accrual to receipt basis. Accrual to receipt basis. First suggestion. Second suggestion, as Honorable Prime Minister is saying, that we must pay salary to our employee concerned, and I'm standing for it. We must pay. This is a very crisis situation for all of us together. But I say to support financial need of SME and MSME. SME and MSME, you should give us some 0% rate of interest, some loan, so that we can meet this cash crisis for COVID-19 time period. COVID-19 time period. There's a second measure. Now, this was only from suggestion perspective. Leave it aside. Come to the force majeure clause now. And here you can ask your question also. So let me first complete my part. Then I will then I will request you to post me a query. First, listen. If there is no force majeure clause in the contract, and there is no GST relief, tax relief for my raising invoice, except date is now 24th June for 3B and 1 GSTR 3B, can't we do two parties, promisor and promisee, come together? And you know, during this COVID-19 period, a lot of things happening. I saw one, participants is writing to me. I'm reading it out. He's a Sankar. He's writing, what about supply of goods? Will force majeure clause will work for goods supply? He has written and again copy pasted. Not an issue, but he was right asking this question to me. So what happened? There was a contract for supply of goods, which I could not execute because of force majeure clause. What should I do? Or maybe I have taken advance, but I could not supply goods. Can be happen for services as well. So you have to listen very carefully. I have already planned that how I'm going to tell you this topic in a very smart manner. So now I would be looking for the answer. Please go all along with me. Listen me carefully. And this example will tell you to how to do tax planning. First, there's no force majeure clause in my contract. Assume. If it is there, then it is safeguarding both of us, promisor and promisee. Since there is no force majeure clause, I'm asking one question to all of you. Can promisor and promisee come together, discuss the revised timeline, come to a settlement, and force an extended date or future date for execution of a contract? Please tell me. I'm asking you guys, can promisor and promisee come together, do a settlement, decide a future date, looking at the COVID-19 time period, for safeguarding themselves from tax relief perspective or tax planning perspective? Tell me. Okay, so I saw a lot of yes. And to just give the answer in your mouth, let me tell you from GST perspective. Listen very carefully. I will go one after another. Okay, listen. The first part. Let's say I've taken advance of 10 crore rupees, 10 crore for supply of goods, and there was no force majeure clause in my contract. Then two questions coming out. I could not supply because of COVID-19 time period, and I could not do that. And looking at the present scenario, I cannot supply to my client within India and outside India. So I'm creating both the situation. I'm creating supply within India, and I'm creating supply outside India, which is export. Go slow. I do not want any question on a chat box, please. Shankar, you have to stop somewhere. Everyone has to stop and go along with me. Nothing I want to see in your chat box. You have to just answer it whenever I'm posting the query to you. Within India, I could not supply against 10 crore. I cannot supply because of COVID-19 time period. Do you see any GST implication on this advance receipt for supply of goods from GST perspective? Tell me yes or no. I just want to see yes and no. Those who are saying yes, from GST perspective, I'm of the view there is no GST implication. Advance received for supply of goods, there is no GST. Since 15 November 2017. So those who have said yes, kindly first correct. For supply of goods, no implication. Come to supply of services. Advance receipt for supply of services. Do you see GST implication? Please tell me GST implication. Yes, this time I agree with all of you. GST implication comes in. Perfect, well said. I agree. Go slow so that we can all touch base. Yes, going fine. Now, come to the goods again. Since there was a commitment that I will export out of India, because of force majeure, my client from Germany, listen carefully, coming back to me and telling me, Mr. Jain, or my client from Bengaluru coming back to me and telling me in Delhi, sir, now there's a lockdown situation in India and lockdown situation worldwide. So Bengaluru client saying, sir, boss, now I don't want the supply. Client in Germany coming back telling me, sir, I don't want this supply now. Kindly cancel this contract. And refund me 50%, which was agreed. 50%. Refund me 50%. And forfeit the 50%. So 5 crore forfeited, 5 crore refunded in domestic transaction and in for export transaction. Hope you all are going with me. And that is what I'm creating tax planning for all of us together. This we have to really listen very carefully. And this topic, first time I'm deliberating, that's the reason I want pay attention. Now, tell me this 5 crore rupees which is forfeited in lieu of settlement between two parties, because of force majeure clause, but there was no clause in our contract. Had there been force majeure clause, so two questions. Had there been force majeure clause and 5 crore rupees got settled for this non-execution with a GST applicable? Second question, had there been no force majeure clause and 5 crore now got forfeited? Don't write. Now I'm not looking in your chat box now. Please don't write. When I post query, then only say. First question which I'm posting you, there was a clause of force majeure in the contract. In lieu thereof, it is being settled that 5 crore rupees would be settled as a refund and 5 crore would be kept by the supplier because he may have initiated procurement of raw material. He may have started manufacturing also. It was in WIP situation, but the lockdown started, COVID-19 started, and it all kept as it is. It's of no use now. No use now. Now I'm asking you guys, tell me, had there been force majeure clause in the contract and this 5 crore rupees got forfeited, GST leviable or not? Yes or no? GST leviable or no? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So everyone is now trying their best. Now let me answer. Oh, and I'm liking because you guys are participating and acting. You're coming so close to me now. Listen very carefully. Let me take the answer of second question also so that I can club both the answers, and then I will summarize. Had there been no force majeure clause in the contract? Possible. Had there been no force majeure clause on the contract and 5 crore rupees got forfeited for domestic and 5 crore rupees for export, GST leviable or not leviable? Tell me. Okay. Okay. Yes, leviable. Saurav Maglani is saying yes, leviable. Okay. All right. So Mukesh is saying, yes, sir, force majeure clause, export. Listen carefully now. I will try to resolve. Now my answer. Now I want you to pause and listen to me carefully. Irrespective of fact, I'm talking about domestic transaction or export transaction for goods. I'm first concluding goods. Irrespective of fact, whether it's a domestic transaction or export transaction. Those who are saying export meaning in GST when you take out goods from a place, India to outside India, which you haven't done. It is only compensation. So treating the same as export transaction is a subjective one. Those who said export, hence GST not leviable, I'm correcting them first. I'm telling them, boss, no. Export of goods in GST is complete only when goods are taken from India to a place outside India, which did not happen. So don't say export. So irrespective of fact, domestic transaction or my Germany transaction, though my production is in process, WIP is there, raw material is there, which I procured for this contract only, which I could not execute because of COVID-19. Had there been force majeure clause or had there not been force majeure clause, now I'm telling you. If there's a force majeure clause, then we both the party agreed to a situation that there may be natural calamity. There may be unavoidable circumstances. And to that extent, both agree in principle. Both agree in principle because this is compensation of loss incurred by one party. It's not the consideration for the obligation to be fulfilled. Please, I'm repeating again. It's a compensation of loss suffered by one party rather than consideration for execution of a contract. First part. So just give a thought to it. I'm telling you, they are broad guidelines, principle which you need to pay attention. First part. Second part, there's one concept called liquidated damage. Liquidated damage in GST. In terms of Schedule 2, it is supply of service. Now you will be saying GST leviable. Maybe a lot of you saying yes, lot of you saying no. Let me listen my answer now. Lot of you, liquidated damage. I'm of the opinion, liquidated damage per se, falling in Schedule 2, may be determined as a supply of service, but cannot be charged. I'm using the term cannot be charged GST unless it is supply. Unless it is supply. And that is the reason Schedule 2 is delinked from the supply definition. Schedule 2 is delinked from the supply definition. So Schedule 2 only for determination, classification, but that is not supply till the time supply. Hence, let me conclude. Liquidated damage per se is not supply. First part. We do not enter into contract normally and generally. We do not enter into contract for not doing the thing. Please, we do not enter into contract for not doing the thing or agreeing that non-obligation part. So I'm saying generally and normally we do not. Third part, who is a service provider in this transaction? Who is a service provider? The party who has agreed for the compensation? And what services they have provided? You assume he is agreeing to the obligation? That is the service? No, no way, no way. I can take one example and clarify to you. Let's say you have given me a contract for repairing of your house, I've gone into contract for repairing of your house. While doing repairing, some breakage, some damage happened from my side. I'm a supplier. I gone to your place and while doing the work, some breakage happens. You charge certain compensation. I'm telling you. Whether GST leviable, agreeing to do and not to do. Answer. I need your answer. Is it called agreeing to do and not to do or tolerate an act? Please tell me. To my mind, it is not. To my mind, it's not. That is my conclusion. No, it is no way. It is not. Now, those who say so, I will request them to revisit delinking of Schedule 2 from the supply definition and liquidated damage need to be understood in a perspective, and legal jurisprudence is now evolving and settling down. So my opinion, you may have your difference of opinion, you can keep with yourself. I said for the reason that it is compensation for the loss incurred. It is not the consideration for activity carried out, delinking. First part. Second part, I never entered, like repair, some breakage happens. I never entered for breaking the same and paid the consideration. And you never entered to tolerate this an act. And then you say it's a supply. So I'm delinking that liquidated damage per se, to my mind, is not chargeable to GST. Now I've said for domestic and I've said for export transaction as well. Let's take for the services and then I will come to the last part of it. So we are just entering into last 10-12 minutes. I will try to make most of it. Maybe 5 minutes I will leave it for the question answer. So just go for the supply of services. If there is advance received for these services within India and outside India, advance received for within India transaction, for supply of service, and for Germany transaction. Tell me one after another. Had it been India transaction, advance received for supply of service, GST leviable? Say yes or no. Say yes or no. Go ahead as per yes or no. Yes, leviable. Everyone is saying. So advance is chargeable to GST for domestic transaction. Second transaction, advance received for export of services. Tell me, advance received for export of services, GST leviable? Say yes or no. Start in chat box. Start in chat box. Is GST leviable for advance again export of services? No. If my base transaction is export and continue to be export, advance is not chargeable. And that is the formula. Having said that, now coming back, COVID-19 time period, I could not perform my service and I know that I will not be able to perform, right? If this advance is received 10 crore, if it is refunded back to the customer full, refunded back to the customer full, then whatever GST you have paid, you can adjust by way of credit note or go and claim refund. A circular is being issued, you must have seen that, which talks about any advance received for domestic transaction which you could not perform within India. You can raise credit note and adjust with your output tax liability. If you can't adjust with your output tax liability, you can go for refund. A recent circular is being issued in this regard. Now, if I change this transaction and say, no, 5 crore only getting adjusted, 5 crore need to be refunded. So to the extent of refunded, you can do adjustment. But the 5 crore which is being kept as a settlement amount, had there been force majeure clause, had there not been force majeure clause, my answer once again to all of you would be, that I don't assume liquidated damage because we never enter into a contract for not doing the activity. We never write such stuff in a contract for not doing the activity. To my mind, we can always debate that liquidated damage per se is not chargeable to GST. Not chargeable to GST. Now, coming to the last important part, and this I want resolution from all of you, apart from my suggestion, which I gave to government that you change GST payment from accrual to receipt basis, or give 0% rate of interest, or maybe you can say for time period, it's changed from accrual to receipt basis. Coming back to you. I was supposed to raise invoice on 31st March. Had I raised the invoice on 31st March, I could have taken benefit of these date 3B on 24 June, GSTR 1 on 30th June. But during COVID-19 period, we are finding that lot many business modeling will happen. Lot many negotiation will start. Maybe whatever invoice I'm raising now, for which I would be filing my 3B and 1 at a future date. But what is the guarantee I will be paid by the customer? What is the guarantee? And if I pay GST on accrual basis, What is the guarantee I will be able to recover this money? Because it all dependent upon credit note, and had it been supply of goods, deficiency of service, there's a concept. In deficiency of service, there's a concept you can raise credit note and adjust the liability, right? But for goods, there's a concept called return of goods. Return of goods. You can always do that. Tell me one thing which I'm looking from all of you, and this I just want to pause myself. This kind of contract raising invoice on 31st March may be pertaining to goods, may be pertaining to services. The continuous supply of goods as well, like gas going, like electricity going, like some mineral water going, some oil going, continuous supply of goods. Milestone defined in the contract. Works contract, which is supply of service. Milestone defined in the contract. My last and humble question. Can I negotiate promisor and promisee go together and negotiate a fresh date, maybe after 3 months, maybe after 6 months? They can create addendum to the contract when there's no force majeure clause in the contract. Can we revisit a date for raising invoice so that we can make proper tax planning and acceptance of both the party, promisor and promisee, for discharging the payment, so that tomorrow we should not end up in tax payment and at loss at one party's end? So I'm asking you guys, can we revisit? Can we renegotiate? Can we do settlement? Even though there is no force majeure clause. Okay, everyone is saying yes, sir. Yes, sir. Possible, possible. So what is the conclusion coming out? So Bisal Kumar Agarwal is saying, no, I can't see you guys. But when you're writing no on chat box, Bisal, I'm naming you. See, I can tell you that GST or legal or any taxation I'm referring to, it is very much innovative and dynamic. We have done lot of learning during this COVID-19 time period. I have started my discussion on force majeure clause. I'm just about to reach 1 hour 30 minutes. Created implication from 3B1, then discussing the raising of invoice. I have not discussed at length eBay bill. eBay bill, if you are not filing consecutive 2 months return, then your eBay bill will be blocked. What happened for section 68? It is exception clause. It is not falling into that umbrella kind of benefit. Rule 138E. What happened if there is arrest, power to arrest provision under section 69? It is still existing today. Government is saying COVID-19 is important, tax relief measure is to be given, but power to arrest remain intact, alive. Even COVID-19 time period. If a commissioner has reason to believe that a taxpayer is a evader, only reason to believe can suffice for arresting a person. I started from one person who said no. I named him as a Bisal. He's one of the person who is participating, but I'm only giving food for thought. My conclusion, whatever I've drawn, is not complete. What you need to do, you need to go back and take out the contract. Check the contract properly. See in that contract whether the force majeure clause exists or does not exist. If exists, what are the implications which can be safeguarded? If does not exist, what we can do as a promisor and promisee, renegotiate between ourselves and come to a conclusion for execution at a future date. I'm of the view where force majeure clause exists. You can check the implication from your contract, because that contract must be speaking out something. If there is no force majeure clause, I'm saying boldly, as a promiser and promisee, as a two-party agree to do and not to do, as a two-party who is going to say supply made or not made, we can always postpone, change, reschedule, transfer at that particular milestone, because agreeable to both the parties. Who is the third party going to object between two parties contract when we both of us agree to extend it further? I hope you are getting my message. When we both agree, we are extending further, doing tax planning between ourselves, knowing that this contract is not doable now. Where is legal problem? To my mind, there is no legal problem. So what is the benefit which I'm passing on to all of you? Maybe I talked about from GST perspective. It may be from income tax perspective. It may be from other consideration, commercial dispute, other contract terms and condition perspective. It is all dependent upon individual professional to check the contract clauses and the willing of execution by two parties today, tomorrow, or decide the some compensation. And I said from liquidated damage perspective also that I'm of the view it is only compensation for loss. It is not the consideration for execution of a contract. And from my side, I try to make it best, whatever best possible. I've reached to 5:30, 1 hour 30 minute dedicated. I said I'm going to deliver on force majeure clause and wanted to give it to all of you. You're listening me so patiently for a long time. At the moment in COVID-19 time period, I'm also liking a situation that we all are doing a lot of good efforts pan India. My request to each one of you, you must do whatever social cause you can do by yourself, contribute whatever best possible, give the food to the needy guys, give your support of moral, money, whatever best possible from your side. From knowledge perspective, whatever Bimal Jain is trying, you can do from your side as well. And I always assume and believe sabka saath, sabka viswas. Maybe Calcutta will not like this slogan because of Mamata Di, but that is what I normally believe, that sabka saath, sabka viswas. So we must come together to defeat Corona. And last I'm sharing my number with each one of you once again, that this time period I'm trying my best to respond back to the queries with the time permit from my sir. Mute your microphone just 1 minute. Mute your microphone for just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Request to participants, just 1 minute. I'm sharing my number with you guys who are participants today. They can always send their appreciation, good wishes to me. This time we can pass on positivity to each other. So my best of the wishes for you. I pray to Almighty God for your wellness. Stay safe at your home. Take down my number in case you have something to suggest, something which you want to communicate to me, some query. If time permit, I will definitely reply back to you. And with this, we will walk the talk of COVID-19. Together, we will defeat Corona. Take down my number, 98-106-04-563. I am repeating, 98-106-04-563. So with this, allow me to say a big thank you to each one of you, and thanking at the outset my Central Kolkata Chartered Accountant Study Circle, and wishing them all success. They have, come out with their logo, a great success to them in future. And I'm so delighted to be part of this Central Kolkata Chartered Accountant Study Circle. They always love me, and I need love not only for Calcutta, from whole India. True, from my soul, I'm wishing each one of you a wellness, great success in your career, and we all pray to Almighty God to defeat Corona together. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, few questions are there.
Yeah, tell me.
Over to Sandeep ji. Sandeep ji, are you there? Sandeep Samaria ji. So you can take few questions.
Yeah, please tell me. I can.
Okay. Sandeep ji, are you there?
Yeah. Thank you, Kishan ji. Namaskar, sir.
हाँ जी बताइए.
Sir, relate this all. I think today it's very clear to all the participants. Very participative audience is there today. Sir, just for a query, just like a service, it's a renting service. When anyone is not able to go to the premises of the that person, that premises, so whether that is also coming under force majeure.
Yes,
Whether
it is coming under force majeure clause.
So it can be waived out. We can claim.
Correct. Yes, correct. Yes, correct.
Renting of services also.
Yes, correct.
Very right, sir. Any other query that you want to take from the chat box, if you like to answer?
I saw that we are almost 5:35 now.
Right,
so
sir.
What I will
Two or three questions you can take, sir. 2 or 3 questions.
Achha, you want me to take 2 or 3 questions? So let's post. I will request the participants to post it now. Let me see. One rent waiver.
Kamal ji, are you there?
180 days. There's one Ashish Agarwal asking that there's a criteria of payment of 180 days. Whether this can be postponed. From GST law perspective, this 180 days payment to the supplier, otherwise reversal of credit. There's a provision called reversal of credit.
Right, sir.
Whether we can apply force majeure clause therein. Now, in this case, I'm of the opinion, law-wise, there is no relaxation given. But to my mind, what is the benefit which you can draw now? That you can always renegotiate your due date, and then effectively can inform to the government authority. And another way you can look at that, when I talk about compliances, it is only barring time of supply and valuation. For ITC, as its time limit expiring provision is there, so I can get the benefit of 35/2020. That can also be termed as. So I'm of the view, if you take my view, that section 16 is not barred under 35/2020. So any time limit which is expiring in 20th March to 29 June, I can always say it is extended to 30th June. So maybe for 180 days, you can look at this benefit as well. So
Sandeep, any more question? Kamal ji, are you there?
Yeah.
Kamal Jain.
Some Saurabh Maglani is saying that why government is not scrapping Rule 36 sub Rule 4. Saurabh, and to all the participants, I'm of the view this Rule 36 sub Rule 4 is ultra bias, contrary to section 41, 42, and 43A. And legal writ is being filed in Delhi High Court and other High Court, and notice is being issued to the revenue as well. I'm of the view, and I'm sure you will get a judgment that Rule 36 sub Rule 4 is contrary, ultra bias to section and provision of the Act. But why government is not withdrawing, this answer I'm not having. But I can say what is the legal recourse available to us. So now you're asking something nice, going faster. So if old contract is cancelled and settled at 50% and new contract is made at lesser amount of 50%, this will be a tax evasion. See, tax evasion is different thing and tax negotiation is a different thing. You need to substantiate what you negotiated. Tell me, I'm giving you my life case study. I was providing retainership services to one of the big company. I'm not naming the company for again secrecy region. They came back and they say, Mr. Jain, we want to done away with the retainership agreement. We do not want to continue. I asked them, why, boss? Why you're not interested? They say, sir, this COVID-19 time period, we are not being able to sell our product. We are into, product like which is most sellable during this summertime. Now, since we are not getting sell, our revenue is down. We can't take cost commitment. We are being told by management to cut down the cost. So we do not want any retainership agreement. But tomorrow we can come back to you as and when basis. So where the question of tax evasion, two party agreeing for a particular event, agreeable to both of them till the time we dispute, it is called negotiation and settlement till the time. And when it is not negotiation and settle, then this is called tax dispute. So to my mind, it's not tax evasion. I don't agree with that. What to do with the eBay bill blocking? Rest assured, I have raised this issue to the government authority. Maybe quickly you will get some FAQ release in this regard, and you will get a relief that your eBay bill is not getting blocked. Even I've heard that time limit expiring for eBay bill from 20th March to 15th April would be 30th April is going to be extended. Just wait for, you know, 1 or 2 days. These are happening in a pipeline and will happen. So maybe with this, you can say thank you to each one of you.
Sir, 1 second, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kishan ji.
Yes, Sandeep ji.
Just
any more questions, Sandeep ji?
No, done from my side. Just go ahead. Mic is off.
Mr. Has Pandya, just a minute. Mr. Has Pandya has written one thing. Your material stuck in a halfway. Don't worry about. Go to commissioner and get eBay bill validity extended. Don't worry about that. I know that these are coming in a chat box. Somebody is also asking me when I'm going to announce my GST course. Going to be, they all are looking, sir. Bimalji starts GST course during this COVID-19. Rest assured, I'm working on same. Maybe within a day or two, you will get some announcement from my side.
Right.
EVC for companies is boon. Yes, correct. Please go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you, Bimal sir, once again. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for your such an enlightening deliberation on tax planning and force majeure in GST. I must say that the way you elaborated and simplified the complicated subject really speaks sound. The interactive session was really live, knowledgeable, and amazing. Now I request our executive committee member Hariram ji to kindly offer a formal vote of thanks to Bimal sir. Over to Hariram ji. Hariram ji, are you there? Please unmute Hariram ji. Sandeep ji. Just a second, sir. Hariram ji is not there. Hari, are you there? Anyway, sir, this is technically some problem are there, I think. May I request our executive committee member Rajesh ji Kangadiya or Dilip bhai, are you there? Dilip Karnani ji? सर आज क्या बारिश हो रही है कलकत्ता में?
अच्छा,
इश्यूज है, बहुत जोर तूफान भी आ रहा है.
अरे बाप रे बाप.
That might be a reason. Anyone from our executive committee member?
Ramesh, Ramatar Joshi is there. Ramatar Joshi, Suresh Junjunwala is there.
Suresh ji, may I request Suresh ji Junjunwala to kindly offer vote of thanks. Suresh ji Junjunwala, over to you. Suresh ji को unmute कीजिए.
Thank you, Kejriwal ji. It is my privilege to give formal vote of thanks to of GST. सर, आपने जो आज हम लोग को नई चीज सिखाई है उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. आपने जीएसटी के बारे में जो बताया उसका हम जितने सुनने वाले हैं वो सदुपयोग करेंगे और अपने अपने एग्रीमेंट अकॉर्डिंगली चेंज करेंगे, चाहे उसका बेनिफिट लेंगे. दिस इज ए गुड टैक्स प्लानिंग, आई थिंक, एंड यू मस्ट बी कांग्रेचुलेटेड फॉर दिस. थैंक यू सर फॉर योर नाइस deliberation. And to all participants who has given asked their questions for benefit of all the listeners. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining, and thank you each and every participant who has joined today. Sir, आज हमारा attendance बहुत ही अच्छा रहा. Near to 350. Really remarkable. And it's all due to you, sir. Your presence.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
सर, हमें बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि जब आप आते हैं सर, और हमें विश्वास है कि आप हमेशा CKCA को प्रेफरेंस देते हुए आएंगे और
All
कल
batch.
जरूर आएंगे सर।
All batch.
के अलावा
तो
पे भी था।
जीएसटी के विराट कोहली हैं सर।
हाँ पवन जी आप कुछ कहेंगे?
थैंक यू
पवन जी
सर,
अग्रवाल,
थैंक यू।
पवन भैया, पवन जी म्यूट। Okay sir, thank you. Now we are closing our today's webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you each and every participant. Thank you sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you sir. Thank you. Now we are closing our session.